Hey, what's going on, YouTube? How it is? What's going on? How everybody doing? This your boy Ant Rice's Decisions, man. We on episode 4 today. Episode 4, we gonna talk about sex outside of marriage, bro. Sex outside of marriage. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. Anybody having sex outside of a marriage is trash. Anybody having sex outside of marriage is trash. I'm just letting you know it's trash. Now, I know y'all gonna look at me like, bro, I understand, right? When I wasn't married, I'm married now. When I wasn't married, trust and believe, I was out there having sex. Okay, I was out in these streets having sex. But I'm starting to realize, like I'm older now, realize how much stuff I was supposed to at a young age. I'm trying to tell you how much stuff I was exposed to at a young age. And I'm backtracking and I'm like, bro, I remember all this stuff. How normal being sexualized is in America, bro. Anywhere in the world, whatever, wherever you at, it's just normalized. It's like waking up and riding a bike. That's how crazy this stuff is, right? I'm gonna let you know. Please know, right? Whatever I say on this YouTube page or whatever the case may be, right? My own opinions, my own experiences. I'm not a guru. I'm not an expert, right? I'm just for entertainment purposes, right? Entertainment purposes. So if you like what I'm talking about, help me out, right? Do me a favor, right? It don't cost you a thing to like, share, subscribe to the channel. All right, don't forget to hit that notification bell. Do what you gotta do. But I'm just saying, sex outside of marriage is trash. It's trash, right? I'm gonna go to the word. we gonna go to Galatians 5:19 to 23, right? I'm just letting you know, right? Now, if you're religious or you're not religious or whatever you got going on, right? Whatever the case may be, you might be like, oh, there's a bunch of whatever y'all talk about. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna let you know. I'm just gonna lead into something. It's gonna lead into something to let you know. I'm just gonna give you a glimpse of my life growing up. Just a glimpse on the sexual side to understand what I was exposed to, what I saw, what happened in my life. Right? Just a glimpse of it. Just a glimpse of it. And then I'm gonna bring it to now. How they normalize it. They're continuing to normalize it. I was born in the early 80s. In the early 80s. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. It ain't changed. It ain't changed. The way sex is just out here in these streets, like nobody cares about anything, and it just is what it is. It just hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. It's the same. It's the same format. It's the same flow. It's the same everything. So we're gonna read Galatians 5:19 to 23. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live in this will not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. And such things there is no law. That's Galatians 5:19 to 23, NIV version. NIV version. Right? So I'm just gonna give you a glimpse. I'm just gonna give you a glimpse of my childhood. Just a small glimpse of it on the sexual side. I was exposed to a sexual experience 9, maybe 10, maybe 9, 10 years old, right? Now your brain can go wherever it's gonna go, right? It can go wherever you're gonna go, right? Had the experience, didn't know what it was, didn't know how to deal with it, didn't even know it was there. So I pushed it down, pushed it down, buried it. Like I grew up in a home that we went to church every Sunday. We would serve at church. We was in the choir. We was in my dad was in the band at the church, like so it was pretty cool. He played trumpet, so it was pretty cool. He was in the band, went to church every Sunday, right? Like clockwork. I've been to different churches, Baptist churches, Pentecostal churches. I've been to churches where you went to church at 7 in the morning. They fed you. That you had Sunday morning service. They fed you. Then you had night service. They fed you before night service. They fed you, and you was home at 9 o'clock at night. So you was at church from like 7 in the morning to like 9 o'clock at night. Been to churches that night. I've been to churches where, you be there for a certain amount of time, for an hour, 2 hours, whatever case may be, right? So my parents didn't have the sex conversation with me. Like we didn't have that conversation. That conversation never happened. So I had no idea, no idea what being with a woman was, or what that meant, or how I was supposed to be. Right? I didn't know anything about that, right? But at 9 and 10 years old, I was exposed to a sexual experience, right? Now I didn't have sex with a girl, but I was exposed to a sexual experience at 9 and 10 years old. Right? So I pushed it down, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down, right? So I had a friend, I think I was probably like sixth grade, probably like 12 or whatever. And he popped in this video. And it was about this bunny ranch or something like crazy in Las Vegas. I remember it. That's what's crazy. I'm in my 40s and I remember this story, right? And I saw a glimpse. And we watched it. We was watching it. We saw a glimpse of like sexual scenes. We saw a glimpse of all this stuff, sexual scenes. All right, so I'm at 12 or whatever case may be, right? So, I like girls. I'm not gonna say here like I didn't like girls or whatever like that because I think I was kissing girls probably at a young age. I was doing things I probably should have been doing at a young age. Second, third, fourth grade, whatever case may be. Right. So 9 or 10, sports or whatever, over sexualized, whatever. Don't know what it is. Don't know what that feeling is. So around let me see, like 15, so around 12 years old, so I was forced to my first soft porn situation, right? So then, I had a tragic situation where I lost my mom, things just before I was 17. And they used to have this thing on cable, right? I didn't have cable, but we ended up moving into this house with a man. It was, I'm talking about. That's why I'm saying I'm only giving you a glimpse because how crazy the things I experienced I was exposed to in my life. I probably should write a book. I should write a book that I probably should not be saying right now. I probably should be in a psych ward or something like that for all I know, right? Based on like all the experiences that I had, right? And I'm not saying it's the worst experience or the best experience, bad experience, right? That situation, right? So I don't know what this stuff is. Like I feel like girls and stuff like that. I was nervous around girls, to be honest. I was nervous. Like because I grew up in the church where it's like I didn't really like hold girls or anything like that. So or whatever the case may be. So I'm doing these things, right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm exposed, right? So then I'm moving, right? The house we were renting, got foreclosed on, and then I ended up moving in with my godfather at the time. So he had cable. So at night, because I was, they didn't really have room for me, so I had to sleep on the couch. At night, as I watch, it was what they call Max now, but they used to have like these like soft porn, videos, um, at night. So I always would watch him and 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 watch him. And I think that's the first time, that I was really getting, aroused, in a way. So I'm like 17, right? So, but this is what I'm saying in life, right? So I'm still going to school in high school. So, I'm still trying to live this godly thing, live this thing out, but I'm struggling with this, sexual thing because, like, I'm exposed to this stuff. I don't know how to deal with this stuff. I don't know who to talk to about this stuff because I didn't have a conversation with my parents. I didn't have conversations. They didn't really talk about it in church. So I was just, so I didn't know what to do with these situations. So I'm like, okay, so what I'm gonna do with these things, right? So I kept it a secret. I kept it a secret that I was, masturbation and all these other things and watching soft porn or whatever. So I kept this a secret. I'm keeping it a secret. And I'm struggling with this thing, right? I don't know what to do with it. So I'm feeling shame and all that stuff like that. So I don't know what to do with it. And think it's normal, right? So I had people, like people knew, like I was honest, like, oh, I'm a virgin or whatever. So I'm a virgin, right? I'm a virgin, So God, boys are like, 16, 17. Someone would joke with me like, oh, bro, you ain't had none, stuff like that. See the joke and clown me and all stuff like that. And I'm thinking like, no, like, whatever, right? So I'm like, this is crazy. So I'm like, oh, whatever, right? So the one guy, he asked me one time, because I was in weightlifting class, right? A track or something, right? We was in the gym or something. He was like, hey, bro, like, how do you not have sex? And I'm just like, I don't desire it, right? Even though like I was exposing myself to certain things, but like me being with a girl, like being with like I wasn't just like I never put myself in those spaces where that can happen, right? Me having sex with a girl, that can happen because I just, because hey, my parents really didn't let, boys in the house, like, or opposite sex in the house. They treated pretty much about the same. I mean, they gave a little extra love for the boys, but for the most part, you know, if a girl came over, they was on the porch. Like I think one time I had a situation where there was a girl that came to my house or whatever, and I was just trying to impress her. I was lying, trying to impress her, just trying to get to know her, whatever case may be. And she was in the house, and my dad came home. He was mad. He was like, "Oh, you don't ever bring no girl house." His reason was like, "Oh, she could set us up, blah blah blah, whatever the case may be." So all these things were right. So let me get back to that. So I'm gonna get back to the thing, right? So I suppose if so, right? So it's like, oh, you ain't never had sex, you ain't never had sex, you never had sex, right? And I'm like, all right, but like I don't desire it. I didn't have any desire. Like I understand what I was, the things I was seeing and whatever, but me actually like just being with a woman, right? It just like I never put myself in that position. And if I was in that position, right, I was one of those people where like if I felt uncomfortable, it was just like I didn't want to do anything anyway because I felt uncomfortable. Like I never wanted anything to be forced in that situation anyway. But like I'm still seeing visual pictures and stuff like that or whatever the case would be. But I just never had the opportunity, right, to or whatever. If I did have an opportunity, things would just happen and it would happen, right? So I, exposed to somebody and they were like, oh, how you do? I was like, I just, I pray. I'm like, that's it, girl. Like, I pray. I ain't really have like this full desire. Like, I didn't know the concept of what that really meant of having sex with one person, having sex with a person, right? I never knew what that really meant, or I just didn't know what it was. So things happen, right? So, like, I had some experiences like that, but I never like physically had sex with her, right? But even at those younger ages, right? I had friends that were losing their virginities at like 13, 14, 15, right? And so on, 16, 17, right? They were calling me a late. I lost my virginity when I was 19. They were like, "You're a late bloomer." They were saying I was a late. I used to even say that to myself. I was a late bloomer, losing my virginity at 19. Had no business losing my virginity at 19, right? But all of this stuff, it was so much stuff happening in my life, right? That I told you I could write a book. There was so much stuff happening in my life, right? And you're supposed, and it's so normalized of like your teenagers and kids having kids, right? I even it's crazy thing was, but it was a girl. It was a girl my high school senior year. She was pregnant, right? I saw she was pregnant, but I didn't really think nothing of it because I'm like, wow, like like I was like, I had a bad crush on her when I was younger, I had a bad crush on her, and I'm like, she pregnant. I'm like, yeah, wow, and whatever case may be, right? She pregnant, whatever, right? Even when I tried to talk to girls that were in my grade, like senior year in my grade, they were dating guys in college. They were dating guys and all stuff like that. And we were like, right, so even at that age, we're at an age when these like teenagers, like that's why I'm praying for my kids. That, I just pray like that God is intervening in situations and hopefully like the words I see out my mouth is helping them understand that they need to wait until marriage. Like and people go say, oh, you old fashioned, you stuff like that. But we expose ourselves to so much stuff when you have sex with somebody, you just expose yourself to what they are, who you are. You are becoming one. Like, And people understand, like, y'all are becoming one person. Like, y'all are literally intertwining with each other, like fluid swapping, like real fluids and bodily parts and skin and stuff like that, and everything like that. And we gotta understand, like, I get it. Like, people are like, oh, whatever, right? But understand, like, I understand, like, people, what they do is, right, if they are continuing to do whatever they want to do until something happens where it harms them. So it's two things that can happen. Like, when you have sex outside of marriage, these things: STD, possible pregnancy, right? So either the woman is getting pregnant or the guy is impregnating the woman. Okay, these are two things that's going on, right? I'm not even gonna speak on any, like, on the LGBT community, right? I'm not even gonna speak with that because that's a whole separate topic, right? Based on just having sexual interactions and stuff like that, and it's just certain things that's like you like it's just certain things you should be doing. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, right? I'm not. Don't come for me. I'm just talking about sex outside of marriage. Nobody should have sex outside of marriage. And if you already having sex outside of marriage, if you already having sex outside of marriage, like, yo, find a counselor, find a church, find prayer, find somewhere safe, okay, that you can have these conversations, that you can start fresh right now and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna wait until I'm married. I'm gonna wait until I'm married because we're just exposing ourselves to people. This person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. And we don't know these people to save our life. And you don't know how it's really affecting us and how we think and how we walk and how we talk and how we do things. It's affecting us so much. We don't even know why it's affecting us, right? But hey, if you like what I'm saying and like everything's working out what I'm saying, right? It doesn't cost them, right? Just like I said before, it doesn't cost them to like, share, subscribe, right? Hit that notification bell so we can have these conversations over and over again, right? So just like I said before, this is a recap. Like, people who jumping in, y'all fast forward a recap, right? Recap. Look, okay. 9, 10, exposed to sexuality. 12, I saw porn. 15, 16, 17, I was watching it and I was masturbating. I was doing all these other things, whatever. That was sex, right? I physically hadn't had sex with my wife, right? Until I was 19 years old. I lost my virginity at 19. At 19 years old, right? 19 years old. At that point, when I lost my virginity at 19 years old, I was a young man, military, getting to the point where girls are like really like starting to like me and whatever the case may be, whatever, right? So I have interrelations, have sex with a girl, or whatever the case may be, right? They didn't, turn out that well, whatever the case may be, and boom, then I meet someone else, right? Now it's to the point where I'm not registering in my brain, so it's just like it's not safe sex. I'm just out here doing whatever, right? And I'm not thinking things up. Now, then that's, I'm getting people pregnant, all these other things like that, right? And that's a whole nother, like, probably video, a whole nother story. But we're normalizing these things through life, through everything that we do and we experience is being normalized. Everything is sexualized. Everything is sexualized. Like, they had TV shows. It was a boy whisperer. It was like Girl Meets World, where it was like two girls dating the same guy, right? All of these things, like, they're normalizing these things. It's another show that people say, "Oh, this show is so great." It's called Forever, right? I haven't really like watched the show, but I watched clips of the show. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, they had a video of this girl at 16, right? And they're like, she's obviously older. She's an actress. I'm sorry, actress, and she's older than 16. Obviously, she's older than 16. Like, right, and she's playing it, right. Sex, teenage sex, is normalized, right? They got people over there clapping like, oh yeah, I guess they end up having sex like one time or whatever the case may be, right? And it like he came quick or whatever the case, like he was like whatever he had, like whatever, it happened fast or whatever. And then they drove out to this hill and then it was like, oh yeah, he got, and there was people on there, oh yeah, he got his get back. And it's like, you're normalizing, socializing teenagers, right? And then you have situations where you have teen moms, you have guys that are being a father as a teenager, and then you're wondering why they're not being around, like they're not being a good dad, or they're not being a father figure because they're still a kid, still a child. It's just like a child, just like they're like, oh, your child having a child. Yes, it's two people, two kids having a kid, and they don't know how to raise it, and then they're growing up in a household where they have two parents who really don't know how to raise them. They really don't know how to help them and guide them through life and understand what temptations, what things are going to be thrown in their face. I didn't have, I mean, I understand, like, I love my dad. Like, my dad was a nice, he was a nice person, all of these things like that. He had his flaws, right? Whatever the case may be. But he was a nice guy. He was a nice guy. And I get, like, this whole dynamic where it's like we expose ourselves to these things, right? And my dad, right, probably was exposed to a lot of things too, but he didn't know how to explain it and put it in perspective to me to say, hey, you don't need to go down this road. You don't need to go down the same path, right? He didn't, right? We didn't have those conversations. So since we didn't have those conversations, it kind of like really set me up, right, for maybe failure because I didn't understand what actually being with a person, right, and having sex with a person really looks like, and what emotions that come with that, and what trials that come with that, right, and what risks that come with that, right. Me having a kid, about like somebody having a child, right, me catching an STD or something, like all these things. Now, I'm thankful that none of these things came true, right? And if I did get something wet, it was be able to go away, right? So, but I'm glad this thing didn't happen too. But it's a lot of people out here who literally are living with STDs. They're literally having commercials nowadays on TV. I remember you couldn't have no commercial about the HIV. They got commercials about HIV pills. Oh, you can just take this pill. You ain't got to take 18 pills. You can just take one pill, right? And and then you could have sex with somebody else, and it's okay because they're not gonna get it because you're taking this pill. Like, it's literally crazy. It's literally how crazy that is. It doesn't make any sense that they're like, oh, now you can still have sex, even though you had sex unprotected or whatever, or when somebody was carrying a, a sexual a disease, and now you have a disease. But since I gave you this pill, you can continue on the way you're going and the what you're doing. But this stuff is so normalized, man. It's just like that show Forever. It's like, dude, it's like, and then they're playing on people's emotions. It's like a guy leaks a video of you, and then you go to prom with this guy, and you feel obligated to go to prom with this guy because you said yes. That's crazy. You got two crazy people trying to normalize crazy. Two crazy people trying to normalize crazy. But then you want to have sex. Then you want to include sex in that situation when both of y'all crazy. When it's like, oh, my baby daddy, he a bump. No, he was always a bump. He was always a bump because he had no reality of what was going on. He wanted to satisfy a thing that can never be satisfied. And then a baby comes out of it, and then you wonder why he's not there because you didn't spend any time to get to know. As a woman, you didn't spend no time to get to know that. And on the flip side, oh, my baby mama crazy. No, you married you you had sex with crazy because you don't know them. You don't know a person. We're It's normalized to have sex before we even get to know someone. Everything is so spread out and so superficial to the point where we don't even get to know people. We don't even get to build good friendships. We don't even get to sit down and say, hey, what do you like as a person? What do you like as this? What is your what is your hobbies? Right? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? All these things, just basic stuff. Just getting to know people, right? Some people don't even know how to be friends, let alone, but then they want to include sex before any of that. And they be mad if the dude is not around, be mad if the girl goes to get an abortion. All these things. You, you do all these things, you go crazy with crazy, and then you wonder why crazy things happen. That's why you should just be laying up with nobody, right? And how men are right now are saying, oh, they got a body count, right? A man can sleep with 200 people, women, and it's blown away. It's like, yeah, he just slept with 200 people. Oh, well. A woman sleeps with 200 women. Oh, well, they got to be so emotionally involved, and it takes more for them and they have to be so willing, right? But it takes two people. That's it. It don't take one person, right? Now we can do sexual acts. Now that's a different conversation. That's a whole other thing, right? With masturbation, the other things that go on with that, right? Watching visual things to produce sexual acts, right? But when you become one with someone, it brings a whole another level to it. That's a whole other thing to it. Because you're going from one person to another person to another person to another person. And there's no real connection. Because the connection is really in getting to know someone, spending time with a person, knowing what their what irritates them, what bothers them, what makes them happy, what they enjoy doing, right? Do we enjoy doing things together? Really get to know each other. Because that will weed out a lot of stuff. It's guys on TikTok right now. It's guys on TikTok, YouTube, or whatever, giving advice. Hey, if she don't put out in 3 days, you're going. They're going. They're going. What mentality that is? Is the fact that you don't even want to get to know the one women. What the mentality is, if you want to go on a date with a guy, right? And y'all don't even have a conversation, but expectation, like what you expect out of this date, like what whatever, right? You some women are just, oh, I just want a free meal, right? With no intention of even letting a person know what your boundaries are, what your things are, or whatever it could be, or you you, you give too much information. Like some women give too much information. You already got these boundaries up. You tell the man, oh, these are my boundaries. You be like, wait a minute, I just met you. They like, what is your name? What's your favorite color? What, you know what I'm saying? Like what do you like to enjoy doing, right? But having these basic conversations and these small conversations and these simple conversations, it's going to open the door to understand what that person is doing that is going against what your boundaries are. What is that man doing that's going against your boundaries? If your boundary is saying, hey, I'm waiting till marriage, right? I don't kiss, I don't, whatever the case may be. If your boundaries are, hey, I'm not kissing you, or whatever those boundaries are, right? You get to know a person, whether they're gonna respect those boundaries or not. You don't need to tell them that. We overgive information because if you tell me straight up, like, okay, all right, you're so closed off that we can't even have a conversation. Because if my intention is to do something or have something with you, whatever, that's out the door. So I might be on my way. And you're like, oh well, that might be a good reason that might weed out the other guy, or somebody just might be waiting their turn, right? So instead of this, have a conversation. You will know their character by having a conversation, right? Spending time with them and understanding what they're doing like that, right? Going on small dates, right? And as a guy, you should have small dates. Just have small dates to get to know each other, right? If a woman say, "Hey, I want to take you to this nice restaurant on a first date or second date," it's like, well, like that's because you're like, okay, I'm just spending this money, whatever. No, right? We have to manage our situation and be smart, right? But sexuality, sex outside of marriage is so normalized. Most of the movies is like, oh, I'm dating this guy. He does not do what he's supposed to do. They meet this other guy. The other guy is doing something, whatever, and then it whatever, right? We don't understand the fact that if, as a man, not even as a woman, as a man, right? If I'm single, right? If I'm single and I meet a girl, right? And she is all of that in bed, all of that, right? Doing all of this crazy stuff, right? And but it's like, we never got to know each other, but we're sexually involved and we're just doing this or whatever, right? And then we started getting to know each other and like, oh, we're not a good fit. Now, the next woman come around, right? Maybe they okay in bed. So I have sex with them, they okay with bed. They okay with bed, right? But I'm still thinking about the other girl. You know why? Because they was getting it. And I'm like, dang, I probably should just stay with the crazy, right? Now you with somebody, like, oh, whatever, right? And then so on and so on, so on and so on, so on. You always gonna be comparing to the next one until somebody can beat that other person out that was doing all of that stuff in bed. But if you wait until marriage, if you're a virgin and you just stay a virgin and you get with someone, right, and you just be with them, that's all you know. You don't have to be exposed to other stuff, and you don't have to compare it to something else. It's the comparison. You're comparing it to every man that you be with. You comparing it to every woman you have to be with. Every woman until they can beat out that other woman, right? That's why some people have a heavy body count because they're trying to find it. They're trying to find sexual relations in something that can't in their flesh, right, in their body that they can never ever satisfy. It can never be satisfied ever, right? That's why when it's within a marriage in the right place, it can be satisfied because it's in the right place. But when you step out of the marriage, when you step out of the situation, when you're not in marriage, whatever, your flesh can never be satisfied. It's just a continuous thing. It's like you can't get enough of it. Because I know when I lost my virginity after that, I was losing my mind. I would have sex with anyone that was willing to have sex with me. I would have sex with them. Now that might just be my story. It might not even be anybody else's story. But I was exposed to sexual trauma at early age. I was exposed to visual sexual things, right? And even now, I'm praying that my kids not are exposed to none of this craziness. And I'm like, dang, I don't even want to watch that episode. They got a show called Love Island. Love Island. They're kissing, suggestive sexual things, having sex, right? They probably not actually showing it, but like you can see, oh, the camera is showing like they're having sex. And then the people are like, oh yeah, we have sex. And they don't even know these people. Barely 10 days in, 8 days in, already having sex with someone. They completely off physical attraction. And then go crazy when that person is not doing certain things in a relationship. They're romantically imagining something in their brain that's not reality. They closed themselves off and they literally gave themselves to someone that deep down wouldn't even be with them. You have no choice but to be with these people, right? They couple you up and they link you up with this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. And they call it entertainment. And people are like, oh, dang, you shouldn't be with the other just like that. They are closing people off in a space where people are going crazy and doing crazy things and stuff way out of their norm that they probably wouldn't even do on the outside of that place. That's another example. So we got Show Forever, that's over sexualized for teenagers, right? Videotaping sex tapes, right? A single mom going through all of this craziness to keep her child into schools, working 8 jobs, 20 jobs, or whatever the case may be, so they can go to the special school and have a better opportunity for themselves, right? And then the bomb and has to respect that and be okay with that, and break her back when she got kicked out of the school. She should have just been like, you just gotta go to public school like everybody else, but continue on to break her back. We're normalizing chaos and crazy, normalizing it, entertained by it, enjoying it, putting it out there. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm exposed to childhood trauma, sexual images from the time I can remember, probably the time I was 9 years old until I'm in counseling right now. I'm counseling right now, still processing stuff I was when I was 9 years old. Still processing stuff when I was 15. Still processing the fact that I lost my mom just a couple of months before I turned 17 years old. I'm still processing all of this stuff as human beings and as a teenager, and when my brain didn't even develop until I was 25. So I'm going through these processes, going through this stuff like that, dealing with all of this craziness. And this is what I'm saying. And it's like, y'all think this stuff is okay. You already got to deal with enough. Why throw sex into a situation where it's not supposed to be? It's only supposed to be in a marriage. Whatever you define marriage as, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. Any sex outside of marriage is trash. Any sex outside of marriage is trash. Just stop doing it, bro. You're exposing yourself to STDs. You're exposing yourself to be pregnant with a child that you didn't even ask for. And the possibility of that person not even being there, not being involved, in jail, dead, moved to a different state, and all this stuff like that. You want to deal with child support. You want to do like I don't understand how two people want to deal with all of that chaos and craziness for all their lives. I dealt with it, like, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm still trying to build relationships with kids, with some of our children. To be honest, we gotta stop. Sex out of marriage is trash. STD, pregnancy, STD and pregnancy. And I wish I would have realized this when I was 16, 17. I wish that all of these things could have been different. When I was 16, 17, when I was 18, when I was 19, before I lost my virginity, I wish something would have been in my ear, smacking me in the back of my head and said, hey bro, chill out. Don't go there. Don't do this. When you with somebody, marry them first. Get to know that person first. Spend time with that person. Knowing that y'all a good fit. Then marry that person and then have children. Right? But I'm thankful for the children I have, and I'm thankful for the life that I have or whatever. I don't regret any of those things. I'm just trying to help other people out in this world avoid these situations in their lives. We are exposed to so much stuff already. Why are we adding extra stuff to our lives that we can make a better choice for ourselves? That's why this channel is called Right Decisions. Making our best decisions for ourselves and not making the wrong decisions. Learn from people's mistakes. Learn from people's mistakes. Right? Whether you read about it or not, just read the story of David. Right? He slaying Goliath, rescuing Israel, doing all stuff like that. He walked out there in these streets with Bathsheba. He's had so many opportunities to make the better decision. But hey, he king. Maybe he felt feeling himself. I'm king. I slayed thousands. I slayed a bear. I slayed a lion. I'm a man. He saw Bathsheba. Maybe he saw her once. Maybe he saw her 5 or 6 times. Maybe he imagined himself being with that sheep. Excuse me. But what happened? What did he do? He said, "Come to my chambers." Even his servant was like, "Hey, bro, you sure about that?" He did it anyway. End up getting her pregnant. Then goes out, takes her husband, right? Brings him back, try to get him drunk so it could seem like he got her pregnant. But he has so much integrity in himself. That's his husband has so much integrity in himself that he realized that he needed to be out in the field with his man when David's supposed to have been out there. Okay, so that didn't work out. So what he do? He sent the man out in the front lines to die. Even then, he had a time before he sent the man. He could have brought the man back and said, "Hey, you know what? I slept with your wife. Right? She's pregnant. Right? I brought you back here because hey, I wanted to give you the truth." Could have backed out. He could have backed out when the servant told him not to mess with him. He could have backed out. He got her pregnant. He could have fessed up to it. He could have repented. He didn't. He didn't fess up to it. He didn't fess up to it. Lost a child. Still didn't fess up to it. All I said until I think it was Nathan. I'm probably saying the right order. Right, correct. Then he, but his own son, one of his sons rebelled against him, tried to take over his kingdom. All of this stuff is just trickling down because not making good decisions and going outside of your marriage. Marrying, right? It's just like polygamy. Oh no, David, you had all these wives. And you see what happens. He lost kids. He had a kid try to take over his kingdom, right? And even when he gave advice to Solomon on his deathbed, Solomon turned around, did all the right things, and ended up doing some of the same situation, marrying people that he should have been marrying. Marrying all these wives, and they had idols and all this stuff they was bringing up. And then Solomon, sooner or later, he failed too, right? Because we making all these decisions on sex and we're not even thinking about getting to know a person. We're not even trying to develop a real relationship, a real friendship, a real relationship with a person. We just jump into sex and hoping everything after that works out. We jump to sex and hope everything else works out. Hopefully we click. Hopefully I have an emotional connection. Hopefully, all that stuff like that. But we already had sex already. We already connected ourselves together in hopes of something else to happen after the fact. Right? I might be old fashioned. Y'all would call me old fashioned. Y'all could say he's out of control, but I'm living from experience. I'm living from other mistakes I wish I would have learned from. David's mistakes in the Bible. I wish I would have learned from seeing some of my brothers, seeing siblings, seeing other people, seeing friends cross the path, and looked at their lives and what mistakes they made, and I made the same mistakes. I ended up doing the same crap they were doing because I thought it was cool. I wanted to be in. I wanted to be whatever. I wanted to be a player. It didn't turn out. It turned out really messed up. And I'm still, even as forth, repairing relationships because I didn't try to grow a relationship in the first place. So now I'm spending a lot of time repairing these relationships. Sex outside of marriage is trash, bro. It's not worth the feeling and the 10, 20 minutes, whatever, how long you think you just the best thing running around here. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be all these other things that you feel or whatever. It's just not worth it. It only brings pain. It only brings shame. It's never satisfied. It always got to be fulfilled. It always has to be fulfilled. But I'm gonna leave you with that. Hopefully this helps y'all think about certain things and really want to get to know people instead of just being with them. Oh, I'm physically trapped. Oh, I gotta try it. I gotta try it out. I gotta try it out before, you know, I gotta try it out beforehand. I gotta see we got that sexual connection beforehand. You treat it like you're test driving a car. You test drive a car, okay, to see if you like the car. You don't test drive human beings to see if you like the human being. You get to know the human being. You get to know the person across from you. You get to know the person that's beside you. That's how you build relationships, and that's how you build connection. You can connect to a car because a car is going to do what it do, and then it's not going to work anymore, or you're going to want a different car. You can't treat human beings like cars and just interchange them whenever you feel like it because you want a new model or a different model. But help me out, man. It don't cost a thing to like, share, subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I'm probably gonna talk about this forever, right? I didn't do no Google. I ain't good. I'm just letting you know personal story, personal life, and I'm giving you a little bit of Bible in there too, because we have to understand, like we are becoming one person. We are literally becoming one person, and we we just don't get the fact how emotionally interchanging yourself with somebody really is. And I think we take that lightly and we just try to make sex into something that we just we could just have it and move on and there's no connection. It's nothing like that. And it's so much more. It's so much more. So much more. So please help me out. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, right? For future content. Let's ride together, man. Subscribe to my channel. I'll subscribe to your channel. Like let's make better decisions. It's called right decisions for a reason. Let's make a decision in life. Don't make the same mistakes I made. Make better ones. And if you are making some of those mistakes, stop. Go to counseling. Get help. Get a true friend. Like confide in a true friend that's really gonna be like, hey, bro, and tell you to your face like, hey, bro, this ain't it. It's something better. Not the one that appeases you. Not the one that says, okay, we can do this thing together, and y'all going on the wrong path. Let's not do that. Let's make better decisions for our lives. All right, I'm teaching myself something right now. Right, that I need to slow down and think through my decisions and the choices that I make on a daily basis. And I'm getting a rude awakening in my life. Right, this is episode 4. Sex outside our marriage, trash. We gotta stop. We just gotta stop normalizing things. Stop watching these TV shows. Stop watching this stuff that literally we wouldn't accept in our own houses for the most part. We won't be okay with our teenage daughter having sex, possibly getting STD, getting pregnant. We won't be okay with that. We won't be okay with that result. Or our teenage son impregnating somebody of getting STD. We won't be okay with that. We won't be okay with that. But but as adults, we watch it though. We'll watch it on screen like this is not happening in real people's lives, because it is. All right, well, y'all have a good night. Right, rest of your night. Pushing about 7:30, whatever p.m. Right on this Tuesday, July 2nd. Y'all be good. See y'all another time, man. Peace.